You mentioned that you not long signed that contract to go full time. What was your transition out, I guess, because with that news, you couldn't carry on with that part of the military. What does that look like?
So when it was in Sheffield in the spinal unit, I remember the CO of the unit. I didn't know him too well. And he comes and he gives you the speech. He goes, all one big family, you're part of the Corps. We will do whatever we can for you. All right, okay. Okay, so I knew earlier on, like, I can't go back to it. But weirdly enough, every night I dreamt different ways I could stay in. I was like, all right, okay, well, what if my legs start working again, and maybe I could have these calipers and I could still do what I want to do. And I'd wake up each morning, I'd just go, no, that was a shit idea. All right. So the next night, and it was all subconscious, in the back of your mind, right, okay, so the calipers didn't work. What if I had like one of those all-terrain vehicles and I could carry everyone's bergen on the back of that and wake up the next morning and go, no, that was a shit idea too. So it's quite weird, it's quite surreal. And so, yeah, I had the speech off the commanding officer, and kept in touch with the lads. And one thing that really upsets me is that, so I was applying for Invictus and I needed a medical discharge paper. And I got signed off AOL, absent without leave. I couldn't believe it. I was like, what's gone on here?
So what, you reached out to the Marines and then?
Yeah, so obviously I had my accident and then I kind of just went away and I was sorting things out. I was learning how to live, learning how to drive, how to look after myself. And there wasn't really a veterans community back then. This is like 2008. And then it transpired that when I was applying for the games, Invictus were like, can I see your papers? So I phoned up Portsmouth, and any documentation goes that way. And I phoned them up, and he said, we've got no documents on you whatsoever. So I said to them, well, I've got 5 years worth of pay statements, and it's got me P number, and it's got me rank. So then I went into the unit to speak to someone. I spoke to this officer, and he said, right, I will get you whatever you need, for in the future, but I'll try and find out what's happened. And he came back and he just said, I'm really sorry, but someone's decided to just sign you off absent without leave. And, at the time, I didn't have a chance to go to Headley Court, or I didn't really receive a pension, or, I felt hurt. I put a lot of time and effort into this family, into this organisation. I thought someone one day in somewhere has not been excellent at the job and has tried to do something, that he shouldn't have done. And, the consequences of that now is quite massive. Mm. And at the times of applying for Invictus, I was like, I'm not going to get this. I'm not going to get the correct paperwork. And my hopes and dreams are going to be shattered, all because someone wasn't doing the job properly. But I only found this out, about 6-7 years after my accident.
Yeah, so when was Invictus? Or which one did you...
So I applied for 2016. So
2016.
This would have been like 2015 when I was applying. And
right.
it was about 10 years after my accident, so 2005.
2005 was the accident?
Yeah.
Okay. So between those two time periods, you've done what you can to make life as good as you can and get the most out of it. So what had you been up to before you got to Invictus?
So the first couple of years after your accident, you really are trying to find yourself again. And, at that age, that tender age, I've got no job. I've got no purpose, got no identity in it. All my dreams and wishes are being taken away. I just don't know what to do with myself. And then, lucky enough, I got picked up by, or found out about the Armed Forces ski team. So they let me go and do a bit of skiing with them, which was excellent. But there was a feeling by me, there was a bit of imposter syndrome. And I felt like I didn't have the right to be there. Because back then, I think the definition of a veteran was someone who's been away, served the country, got blown up, or had the misfortune of war. And I was sharing experiences with these guys. And I was the only, being injured as a civvy type thing. And I was like, I shouldn't really be taking these opportunities off other people. But, if people call you up and say, listen, do you want to come skiing? You're not going to say no, are you? So I was going away and I was learning ski, which was just great. I was spending time with these guys. But in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, should I really be here? And it really conflicted me for quite a while. But towards the end of the skiing that I was doing, I think the disability that I had and what I was trying to achieve and the mindset that I was using to achieve it, I got a nod of appreciation from the other lads. So there was a lot of banter to start, type thing. And I was trying to channel that banter into, right, I'm going to prove to you what I can do. And towards the end of me skiing, I got the nod of approval, which was quite nice.
So you come back from skiing, and does that entice you to do other things? What's your...
It does, yeah, because I think, one of the golden rules is that, try and find your tribe, try and find those people who are getting out there, doing exceptional things, and try and join them on a journey and, see where it goes. So with the skiing, I met another guy who was doing hand cycling. He invited me for a weekend in New York City to go hand cycle with the Wounded Warriors. So that's our version of like Healthy Heroes, isn't it? And just found myself hand cycling in Long Island with all these rich millionaires and the Wounded Warriors, and I was like, yeah, you just think sometimes you're like, how on earth did I get in? And I was like, right, okay, because I was skiing with this guy one day, he put me in touch with someone else, and I sat next to him for a meal. And before you know it, he signed me up to something else. So I think I found the more you say yes and the more you put yourself out there, the more opportunities that started to come along. And these are good, healthy opportunities. I'm not happy that I'm in a wheelchair. It's not great, but again, I am going to try and make it the best that it can be.
And then at what point do you hear about the Invictus Games? Because that's a big part for your journey as such, wasn't it?
Yeah. So I didn't hear about 2014.
The initial, okay. Yeah.
I wasn't in the loop. Didn't receive the email, whatever it was. And I went to the closing ceremony. And I went to see you guys, saw the guys on the track, saw the archery guys. He was showing me his gold medals. And it was such a buzz. And I was like, wow, was like, I would like to be whoever these people are, and however they got there, I would like to be part of them. And I went to the final ceremony, and the Foo Fighters were playing, and you lot were up on the stage, and I'm in the audience, and I'm looking up, and I was like, I prefer to be up there. So yeah, that was 2014, and then 2016 came along, or applications, and wheelchair tennis was in. I've been playing this sport for about 10 or 11 years.
Oh, you had? So pause on that. So during this time, you've been trying different sports and different things, and
so
tennis was one of those. Okay.
I fell in love with tennis.
How did that come about? Come on.
So a little Sri Lankan man called Vince, and a lovely guy, I think full-time alcoholic, part-time tennis player. And he came into the spinal unit, and he was like, right guys, I'm going to teach you how to play tennis. And I think he was trying to find a drinking partner, which he did. So he took us all away to a tennis tournament in Ireland. And he said, this tennis tournament, he said, there's 2 nightclubs in the hotel. And he said, we'll play tennis during the day, and we will partay at night. So I think he was a lovely guy, and I could see the benefits to tennis. You know, it's dead social, loads of banter, you're on court, and it's up to you. You know, you're either going to make or break it, and I really enjoyed it. And Vince said, unfortunately, he said, you'll never be a Paralympian. He said, you need a better disability.
What did he say? Why?
Yeah, so any Paralympic sport, you need to have a good disability. So top 20 wheelchair tennis players in the world, they can all stand up at the bar and have a drink at the end of the night. And so the shots, you know, and the movement, and they will be picked up, you know, they're your gold standard. And unfortunately, you know, with my disability, my balance, and, you know, it's just not really, you know, it's not really going to happen, which is fine. I got over it. I fell in love with a sport that, unfortunately, I just wasn't going to be an elite player, but it got into the games, didn't it? Wheelchair tennis. Okay,
so then, I'm guessing you just carried on doing the tennis over the years, for fun.
When it came about, me and Andy Mack, and Andy had been playing for years, and we were like, we can do this. You know, we don't know what the competition's going to be like, but we both got selected, and we got to train and I say pretend. You know, once you're selected, you are an athlete, and you're training hard, and you've got this goal or this vision to be on the podium. So me and Andy would go down to Roehampton, which is the National Tennis Centre, and it's fantastic. You know, it's immaculate. You know, this is where the money is, and you go for a lunch, and your lunch is like a protein food, superfood salad with your salmon. And you're like, oh, this is ace. And, you know, this is where your top tennis players are. And you're like, this is great. So we did that for like 6 months. And then we had our Coach Kev. And we just had like a great team. But we didn't know what the competition was going to be like. And we got there, and I recognised one of them. One of them was an ex-Paralympian, Glenn Barnes. Angriest man you'll ever meet. So, but it was doubles. So when we were playing him, you know, keep it simple. You hit it at a guy who isn't an ex-Paralympian, and the Paralympian, he was getting well wound up because our tactics were hit it to the shit guy. And it worked. It worked. So we went out there, Orlando, and there was no rankings, and we played the Yanks first, which is wrong. That should have been the final. And me and Andy, we just scraped through on a tiebreak. And, you know, we were lucky. We were lucky. And then we got to the final, and we beat the Kiwis. And it was just epic, you know, to be there on the podium. Prince Harry, you know, he's there. He's giving you the medal. Jane's up in the audience. She's 6 months pregnant with the little one. And, with my service in the Marines, I never got the opportunity to serve. That was taken away from me, which, there's not much you can do about it. But I felt Invictus was my time to represent the corps, represent my family, and to really get out there and do the best I can.
Yeah. And congratulations to you for
Cheers.
Getting a bit of bling.
Yeah, I did. we got the gold.
Amazing.
We got the gold, and it just felt great. It just felt, played tennis for years and years and years, never got anywhere. You know what I mean? But still loved it.
Yeah.
So never gave up on it. And then, like I said, me and Andy, we had this opportunity to go out there and do it, and we did it, and we played ace. We played phenomenal.
Brilliant.
And Invictus let me go back for 2017 to give it one more go.
Okay, so you applied for the following year. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, so I applied to them, and at the time thinking, well, you've done all right, just leave it be, and you just can't help it if there's an opportunity to go and try again.
And that was Toronto, wasn't it?
Toronto.
In Canada, yeah, cool.
Yeah. So I went out there, and in the final again, so I've got a new doubles partner this time, Kev Drake, and we worked again. We were a good pair. We trained together. We went off. We did loads of little competitions together, and again we got to the final. Glenn Barnes is the ex-Paralympian, and there's loads of banter, and he's doing well. And we stuck to the same tactics of hitting into the guy that wasn't the ex-Paralympian. And what Glenn was doing, he was going behind his partner, as if to say, I know you're going to miss the ball, but I'm gonna scoop that ball back up behind you. And I fell for his partner. But again, it was our time to shine, and we got the gold again.
Nice. Congratulations once more.
Yeah.
What happens after that Invictus? Are you going for the next one, or are you looking at other things of goals?
No. So I think you just as much as me, Invictus is about your road to recovery. And you recover, you do the games, and then you need to move on and make space for others. So I applied for the next game for the Sydney Games, but I knew in my mind, it was like, you're not going to get picked, and that's fine. I was okay with that. So yeah, moved on from there. I still play tennis now. My little lad, he's 8, and it's just a great sport that we can play together, and he's really finding a love for it. And I've joined the local tennis club. And again, I'm on a slippery slope down, but still enjoy it. It's still part of me, and I love it.
Cool. What do you mean you're on a slippery slope down?
Oh well, you've had your peak, haven't you?
You're talking about because you've won some medals.
Yeah, and
okay.
It's hard. You've played, you've trained like an athlete. You played the best you're ever going to be. You've been in a tournament that you can excel and do really well. So I don't compete now, but I still enjoy it.
Yeah.
And I'm getting a lot of joy from, I do a bit of coaching these days. And so I'm really liking the tennis community.
Nice.
My wife, she started playing, my little lad plays, and it's something that we can all do together.
Fantastic. Are you doing anything aside from tennis these days, or
I don't know.
What's the last few years been like?
I don't know if you know, but I do a bit of flying.
Do you?
I got my pilot's license.
Oh, okay. When did you do that?
So I was lucky. I applied for a scholarship back in 2008, so we're going right the way back again. But this was started off by Douglas Barder.
Is this something that you thought, what else can I do? What can I...
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I never thought it was on the radar for me. But as I'm recovering in hospital, Peter the pilot made me aware of this charity. So again, I applied for it, and you go down to Cranwell, and you sit there and you do all the the cram aptitude tests and lots of interviews, and it's a disabled scholarship where if you're offered the scholarship, you get to, at the time it was 45 hours, and it was out in South Africa, which you get the ideal weather, and you're in a flying school, and back then it was to try and get your PPL, but now what they give out is like 16 hours, and it's all about a life-changing experience. So I went out there 2008, and I came home, and I felt like a rock star. I had my PPL, but the kids listening to this won't remember, but it was the economical crash. So the banks were going to the wall, people were losing their jobs, and there was a really bad sense, you know what I mean? And I remember coming home and feeling dead good. I've achieved something quite remarkable, but I remember just there wasn't the same vibe. Not as bad as COVID, you know what I mean? But I think 2008 wasn't a great place to be.
And subsequent years, you've done piloting. I don't know what that terminology is. But...
well, looking back now, it's hard to get your pilot's license, and it's even harder to keep it going, to get the minimum hours and stuff. But lucky enough, I've found a couple of mentors who are, really taking me flying on, and it's about self-belief. I think flying's a confidence thing, and I think if you're building upon that confidence and self-belief, then you're going to go far. And it's the same with the Marines. So I never joined the Marines thinking, right, fellas, give me some self-belief and confidence. But the guy I was before joining, compared to the guy standing proud, tall, uniform, green lid, I felt like I could achieve anything. And you never think that when you embark on a type of journey like that, where as you're going along, you're standing taller, and I will always thank them for that opportunity to do that.
And you're still doing stuff for flying now? You still get to go out now and again?
I've come full circle, so I'm a trustee, which sounds quite official, doesn't it? But I love it. I get to sift through the application forms each year, and I think I got caught out by AI this year. So I was reading this form, it's like, oh, I love this one. It's really speaking from the heart. It's got me. It's saying all the things I want to say. We're on this Zoom call, and one of the other guys goes, that's AI. I said, no. And he said, yeah, if you type in, what do I need to say for a scholarship? This is what it comes up with. I was like, oh, so I felt cheated by that. But no, it's a phenomenal feeling to help others, and to see other people's journeys from applying for one of these scholarships, going to Cranwell, getting a scholarship. It's just 16 hours now, but it's good enough to changes lives. It really does.
How often do you get in the air?
Not enough.
Not enough. Fair enough.
But I was checking this morning. HMS Prince of Wales is in Liverpool docks, and I was like, oh, I wonder what height I could fly past that. So I was checking on the chart this morning. It said not lower than 2,000 feet, and I was like, yeah, that's quite far away. I was like, yeah, I'd love to go past it quite near, but I reckon they leave the anti-missiles on. I think it'll point towards you pretty quickly. But it's that's I might try and fly tomorrow, which might be nice. But I try and fly when I can, and fly out of Liverpool Airport. So you got EasyJet, Ryanairs, and it's big boy stuff. You know what I mean? I think you speaking to air traffic control. You're trying to not get in people's way, and it's good.
Nice.
It's a beautiful place to fly out of.
Great. Now I think I'm right in what I'm thinking. So you said about the pilot aspect, 2008, and you mentioned Pete the pilot. That is your brother, right? Yeah.
That's Peter.
That's Peter. That's Peter that was in the accident with you.
Yeah.
Just briefly, how was he? Is it because he was thrown from the bike he was okay, or did he have a little bit of a journey? And you don't have to go into details, but
no,
just people might ask, they might be wondering.
He broke his shoulder.
Okay.
Broke his shoulder, but it was quite tricky for me and Pete to navigate those first couple of years.
Yeah.
Because since then, he's told me that, there is a bit of guilt.
Okay.
But it was an accident.
Yeah.
We weren't popping a wheelie at 90 round the corner. If he was in the same situation as me, he would have done the same. But what we did try and do, we tried to heal together.
Okay.
So for the next couple of years, we sought out new opportunities. We tried a bit of cycling. We went water skiing, and these were different avenues which I could prove not only to him, to me, that I can get on and try and find a way to get through spinal injury.
Okay. Well, thank you for sharing that. It was something that popped into my head because you mentioned him again about the going down the pilot route. So yeah.
People always ask about Pete and flesh wound.
Yeah. What's he doing now?
He was teaching flying in China.
Okay.
Which is,
So he's out of the military.
He's out. Yeah. He's
okay.
out of the military.
We might get him on. Who knows?
I don't think he should. So yeah, and then, but he still flies his fast jets. So,
okay.
He's still doing what he does.
Yeah, nice.
And quite often he reminds me that his jet is a lot faster than my little juggernaut, my little. But I'd explain something really cool that I did in my little plane. It's like, yeah, but your plane's dead slow.
That's cool that you got that little bit going on. So
it's like, have you got any bombs? Like, no, I don't have any bombs.
Is it a 2-seater that you fly?
4-seater.
So you could take me up one day.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'll take you up.
Okay.
Do you trust me?
Let's build on that.
Well, me 8-year-old, he won't come up with me.
He won't?
No. And I think at some point his mates in the class are going to be like, why don't you go flying with your dad?
Yeah.
And I think I'll take him one day. And I spoke to him about it. It's like, do we get to take my passport? It's like, no. He's like, what's the point? It's like, what's the point? I was like, we could have a nice day. I was like, yeah, but you're not going far, are you? It's like, okay then. I said, you can bring your passport, but no, whatever. So it'll happen.
Amazing. Well, Alex, that brings us up to date. Was there anything we didn't get to cover from your time in the military or your recovery phase with your journey that you wanted to share? Yeah,
I think I just wanted to finish off. We spoke about what it means to be a veteran, and my mindset towards the end changed a lot. And I think through Invictus, and I wanted to get the message out that once you sign on the dotted line and you make that commitment to king and country, and I think that's when you become a veteran. So I think I've spent a lot of time now with guys who've spent some guys I've spent 20 days in service, 2 years in service, whether it's 22 years, and I think that I felt like that became like quite a defining moment, not feeling not feeling that imposter syndrome and trying to justify myself and stuff like that. And I would hate anyone else to feel like that in the future. So I would say, whether it's reserves, regulars, whatever it is, I think if you sign up to do that job, then, and if things go wrong, then you are valid.
Yeah.
So,
That's a good shout. And actually that does bring us to a good point of getting some advice from you. And you just mentioned there about veterans. So let's stick with that theme. Have you got any advice for veterans that might be leaving or perhaps been out for a little while, that maybe you had a light bulb moment one day and you were like, they should do this? I don't know. Have you got any advice for those guys and girls?
Yeah. So sometimes how I like to picture is that if I was looking back at my 22-year-old self, and if I could give certainly myself an avenue or a couple of tips, it'll be try what you can, get out there and try and experience whatever it is, and go for it. Don't be scared to try anything. And then number 2 would be, try and find that tribe of people who are, positive, and, try and find that group of people that, you feel you could spend time with, and the people you want to be like. Try and do everything as best you can to, excellence, try and, if you're going to do something, do it properly. And self-belief, I think I'm trying to instill that into my little one at the moment. And I think once he understands what he's capable of, and same for me, I think if I can keep that inner self-belief in whatever I do, I think the future's going to be massive.
Yeah. Some good advice there, mate. Good advice.
Thank you.
The other bit of advice is for people that are thinking of joining the military, whether that's the reserves, whether that's regular, whether that's the Marines or not. Any advice you can give for those that are thinking of joining?
Yeah. If you're clever, go for the RAF. If you like water, go for the Navy. No, but I think research. I think you need to, so many options, isn't there? So don't pigeonhole yourself because someone told you should be this. I think if you can research all the trades, see which one kind of fits you, go along to the aptitude tests, and see if you've got the right mindset for whatever trade that you want to do, and then go for it, and then go for it as best you can. Don't half do it. If you set yourself a goal of being such and such, then go for it completely.
Nice. More great advice there, mate.
Cheers.
Great advice.
I sound like a wise man.
But that does bring us up to date and some great advice from you. But Alex, how was it for you coming on the show, being a guest?
It was good. Yeah. I think I quite enjoyed the military side of things, because quite often it's glazed over in a lot of podcasts because they just quick word right onto the next thing.
Yeah.
But it was quite nice to get out some stories.
Yeah.
It's been quite nice to reflect on the time I've had before this podcast. And quite enjoyed it. Good
stuff. Oh, thank you for sharing everything that you've gone through. From starting out in reserves and getting through everything, and you said a mere Marine, but 99.9% need not apply. That's what the adverts used to say, and they probably still do.
The advert's done its job.
Exactly.
It works.
So thank you for sharing all of that, and also thank you for giving up some of your time. You are a busy person, heading up in the sky and doing your tennis and stuff. So thanks for giving up some of your time for the show.
Thank you.
And lastly, I say this to all my guests: thank you for your service.
Thank you.
No problem. It's been great. Cheers, Alex.
Thank you.
This has been Military Veterans Podcast. Out.